Hi, this is Miss Cindy, and I'm back today to show you another craft project that I'm going to attempt to do. Um, this is an old basket that I've had, oh my gosh, for years. And it's held books, it's held toys. Most recently, it was holding my canvases because they stack up nicely in here, but I don't need it for that anymore, and I really just didn't want to get rid of it. So I also did not want to do another silk flower floral arrangement. I have enough of those around the house. So I was thinking, what could I do? What could I come up with that I could do for this basket as a decoration? And because it's so big, it could just sit in the corner of a room, but it needs to have some color. So I'm going to paint it. I'm just going to use acrylic paint. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to prime it and then paint it. I'm not going to spray paint it because the saying is, if you're going to spray paint wicker, go ahead, wicker baskets, go ahead and use a spray paint. But I'm not going to spray paint it. I'm just going to take my time and brush it and maybe put a design or something on it. But anyway, I didn't have to buy a thing for this project. That's why I'm doing it. And what I did see, which is what gave me the inspiration for this, is they have floral pillows. Some you can make, some you can purchase. But if you purchase them, they're real expensive. But I didn't want a pillow in this basket. I already have a huge basket that has 2 big throw pillows. So when the kids come over to the house, if they want to lay on the floor and watch TV, they can pull those pillows out. I didn't want to put blankets or washcloths in it. So I'm going to try to design this basket and then make miniature floral pillows. So since I had everything around the house and didn't have to buy anything, I'm going to attempt this. And it's going to take a long time because you have to have, each leaf is individual. And then you have to sew it and then you have to stuff it. So it's going to take a long time. This is actually a project that I would have probably done in between my videos. But I figured, maybe to give you an idea for something that you can use for a basket. So anyway, like I said, I already had the basket. I already had batting left over from other projects. I've got different colors of fleece. This is fleece materials, nice and soft. I have some rope, my scissors, my scotch tape. I'm going to use acrylic paint. And then I just made 2 templates, a large one and a small one of a leaf. And then that's where I will cut my fabric. And then I have to sew it up and glue it together and see if I can make it small enough to fit in this basket. So that's pretty much the next project. Like I said, this is going to take a long time to sit here and cut these. But it's, for me, something that's repetitious like that. I can just sit back, watch TV, and just sit there and cut. So as I get started, I will go ahead and show you my progress. So I'm taking a break from cutting up my little leaves. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do my primer. And let's get this covered. I'm not going to prime the bottom because I'm not going to paint the bottom. And as you can see, I also taped the inside because I don't know if the primer or the paint is going to come through. And I don't want to do the inside either. I just want to decorate the outside. It's going to sit on the floor, but it may sit on carpet, and I don't want any paint or anything to get on it. So I'm just going to take a brush, and I'm just using some multi-surface primer. And once that's finished, then I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to tape it up because I think I know the design that I'm going to do. Okay, the basket is primed. I did just the sides. And now I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to go along with my fine sponge and I'm just going to sand it down real good to make it smooth. And then I'm going to come along and wipe it off with my microfiber cloth. And then once that's finished, I'm going to take my scissors and just go around some of the edges. I've got a couple of pieces that are pulling apart. I think the paint will lay it down. But just so, you can run your fingers across it and you don't get a splinter. In the meantime, what I was doing when I was waiting for stuff to dry is I did a freehand 6-inch template of a flower. I did the best I could to make it look like, I'm sorry, not a flower, but a leaf. And I've been cutting like crazy. So here's a 6-inch, and then I did a 3-inch just in case I may make a one even smaller than this. I don't know yet. But in the meantime, I went ahead and here's my template for the first one. And all I'm going to do is stitch around the edges. I'm not going to glue it. I've seen it glued and it doesn't look as nice and pronounced as when you sew it. So I got a lot of sewing to do, but I'm just going to sew around the outline, and then I'll turn it inside out, and then I'll go ahead and I cut these two to the same size, and I'm going to stuff it. The reason why I cut this instead of just stuffing it with microfill, because this way it would probably fill in, once again, making it a little bit more defined. When you just stuff it with polyfill, it's a whole lot of work getting in there and getting it in the corners. So I figured if I just cut it the same size, I could just do it one shot and that's it. And then for the scraps, when I cut out this, if I decide to do a little one, I'm just going to stuff these with the scraps that I had left over, so nothing goes wasted. I want to do something to the top of this basket. I may put rope or yarn or something on the top of the basket. So the edges I did not prime. I may paint them and then glue over them, or I may just paint it and leave it alone. I haven't decided yet. But that's as far as we've come so far. For the paint, I'm going to use the Anita paint, only because the Anita paint is very thick, and I'm hoping I could just do what I want to do in one coat. I don't want to have to sit here, because this basket is huge. I don't want to have to sit here and do 2 coats of this. So if I can get away with 1 coat, I'm going to try it. Well, I guess that's about it. It's time for me to finish sanding and then painting. Well, I took a break from painting that basket. Once again, like I said, I used all the different materials that I had, supplies I had in the house. So it's different colors. So the basket, I had a color theme, but then I had to wait to see if I had the fleece that would match it. But anyway, I went ahead and started cutting this succulent leaf, because that's what it is. I say floral, but it's actually supposed to be a succulent plant leaf. And I showed you where I cut it. And then I just went ahead and I sewed around the edges so it has the outline. And then I'm going to have to turn it inside out. Okay, so then once it's inside out, and I told you I took some batting and I actually cut it. I don't know if you have to. I guess you can stuff it, but I found when you have to stuff batting like this and it's cut to the size, it just goes in a little bit better and it gets in all the creases. So we're going to stuff this one. See if this is what I'm looking for. I have a vision of what this should look like. It just should be a miniature of those big pillows I've seen, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm winging it. Okay, and then I got my little stick here to try to get it in the sides. All up top, because succulent plants are, you know, they're real plump and healthy. Okay, and then I told you I had scraps for when I was cutting, and I don't waste a thing. So we're just going to stick that down on the bottom. Just a little bit more. Yeah, this is actually, I'm looking at it. This looks like it's going to do what I want it to do. Like I said, I'm just trying this for the first time. Okay. there it's stuffed and it's nice and plump. I'm going to leave this open, and that's only because of how I've got to put this together. And the ones that they do for the actual size pillows, there's a big gap at the bottom. And I don't want mine to have a gap. So I'm going to leave this here so I have something to tack on. So anyway, I'm going to sit here and sew up the rest of these. For this small one, I think I used 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of the 6-inch or 5.5 inch. And then one small one. This was like a 3-inch. And that's just so it looks like a bud in the middle. We're going to see if this works. I'll be back after I sew and stuff and get ready to attach these together. Okay, all of the leaves are stuffed, and this is pretty much what it looks like. What I've done is I've just pinned them, that little section that I left, this section here that I left unfilled. I just pinned them so they hold together. And then I'm going to, I'm not going to use a sewing machine. I'm going to manually sew them at the bottom so they're attached. I'm not worried about such a neat job. I just want to make sure they hold together. And then I'm going to come back with the second layer, and I'm going to put a leaf in between the small spaces they have there. So see, now you can see it's actually taking the form of a plant. And if you do your own stitching, it's not going to be as tight as a sewing machine, so you can move the leaves a little bit so that you can get all of these in between. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and sew that as close to the inside as possible. And then I'm going to put probably some glue on this and then stick that in the middle. So that's what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. We'll see if it works. Well, this is the finished product. It came out pretty good for the first time out. As you can see, I sewed the bottom together as tightly as possible, and then I did a second layer, and then I took the small one to put that in the center. And this is what it looks like on the bottom. That's why I said I wasn't too worried about the bottom. So now, because I'm going to go ahead and I cut a little round piece just to hold it all together. And then it could sit flat. It could sit in the basket or could sit anywhere around the house. But I want it to be flat. So I'm just going to take some glue. And I'm just using my Weld Bond glue. I guess you can use anything you want, any type of glue, just to tack this down. Okay, and then we're just gonna lay that on there. This bond, this glue dries clear, so I shouldn't have a problem with it. Okay, and that is my first little miniature succulent leaf pillow. So now let's get back to finish up the basket. I had to think about what I wanted to do with the basket, so I think I have an idea now. So we're going to go back, get the basket done, and I'll show you the finished product. My little basket, the refurbishing of this little basket is done. As you can see, I painted black, like a lavender, and I trimmed the top in white rope just to give it a little dimension and contrast. And I also put 2 handles on here. All of this was just glued on, and everything was painted, and then I went ahead and varnished it. I will say I do have a new respect for whoever came up with this, the succulent pillow, because this was a lot of work sewing. So when they make them big pillows, and they're pretty expensive, I can understand why. Anyway, there's the finished product. I'm still using it as a storage basket because I wanted the little flowers to sit up top. And in order to do that, I had to fill the bottom. So the batting that I have in a big plastic bag, it's sitting on the bottom. And then I just took some fleece fabric and laid it over that so it has a background and you wouldn't see the plastic. So there is my new decoration using the idea of the succulent leaf plants. I hope you enjoyed. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because I'm always coming up with something different. Thank you. Have a great day.